All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the Of Like Minds video podcast. New series going on here, changing the format a little bit. I got a super special guest on the show today. We have my good friend Jayton Gray. Jayton, thank you for coming on, man.
What up, Kev? Thanks for
Of
having me. Thanks for having me.
course. And
Appreciate it.
today, for those of you tuning in, today we're just going to be talking about the dance community, talking about the dance community in terms of just the dance community as a whole, and maybe focusing in a little bit on the SoCal dance community, a little bit from where Jayden is from as well as from Guam. And so we'll just kind of start from there, Jayden. So let's just start with like your thoughts on the dance community, how it has how it has changed over time since you've been a part of it.
Oh man, since I've been a part of the SoCal dance community, it's been tight. It's been tight. I was definitely intimidated at first. Like coming from where I'm from, we literally like all meet up and we'll sit in a room and watch competition videos, class videos, all that stuff with people that when I moved out here was just teaching classes like weekly, regularly.
Mm,
Like people that my studios would pay like mad money just to fly out.
mm,
So I was coming here and I was kind of blown away. I was like still super intimidated, felt like small, but then over time it just what I noticed about the SoCal dance community is just they're very like welcoming and inviting.
mm.
You know what I mean? Like very hardworking as well. And I know like when you put in the work, like it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. But with that, there is a lot of there's a lot of people out here, a
Mm.
lot of dancers, a lot of people trying to just seek that opportunity. And
No, absolutely.
it's even different from like SD and LA.
Hmm.
Like those two communities are different, but still under the SoCal umbrella, it's like crazy.
Absolutely. Well, when did you, a couple questions. When did you start dancing like seriously in Guam? And then when did you come over here to the States and start dancing in the SoCal dance community?
Um, I mean, I always did it for like fun and all that stuff, but I took it seriously after I took a trip to like LA in like 2015. It was
Mm,
a whole summer. I was just out there and I took math classes, trained, met a bunch of like dancers from out here, people who actually convinced me to move to Cali. Originally, I was thinking LA, but then my path took me to San Diego, which I'm super happy of.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just after that summer, I trained a lot. Got a new perspective. Went back home like refreshed and just ready to give back and ready to like show like, hey, like I'm here and I'm ready to teach. So I just applied at a bunch of studios and I started teaching like high school dance teams and just
Mm,
really started putting myself out there, trying to like put the groundwork in, I guess.
yeah.
Um, and I was just under my team, urban individuals back in Guam, and there were just like a bunch of like adults or older people that took me in, and I just looked up to them. And yeah, I was just a young kid that was just out here teaching, and that was like yes after the summer of 2015, and then I just kept I don't know teaching, trying to choreograph and refine my skill, and so I eventually moved to San Diego, and it was like December of 2016. So
Mm.
a little over a year later is when I moved to San Diego and started dancing out here for sure.
That's great. That's wild. And so, I mean, if you could just talk about, because we're kind of getting into that, your background being in San Diego and training here. What was the training like for you growing up and being in Guam, and maybe some of the similarities and the differences that you've noticed in comparison to SoCal?
Um, my training, I never really had like any technical or foundational training. Um, the studio I first started learning at was just a choreography based studio, and then they did
Hmm.
like They did ballet and hula, Tahitian, and like those kind of things, but they mainly um, focus on choreography, and they would go and they would do these like studio competitions and all that stuff. Like they would fundraise $2,000-3,000 just to fly out to LA or Vegas and
Wow.
compete with these teams. Sometimes not even like place, but
Hmm.
just to go out there and get the experience. But um, yeah, so I mean, that's where I first like started just taking classes. Um, which I never really had like formal training other than that, and I was really inspired by like music videos and
Hmm.
You Got Served and that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I was all about just facials and performance. Like I was just a kid that in the corner of class like sticking his tongue out when it was like a hard song, and
Yeah.
you know people noticed that. Like I noticed that early on. Like dang, people noticed when I would perform and just like not care rather than whether I got it or not. You know what I mean? Like I was still noticed that way. So that stuck out to me. And then from there, I was just I don't know. I don't know. The thing about Guam is like, yes, there is a bunch of training, but at the same time, there's a bunch of people just trying to do their own thing and be individuals and are inspired by just videos, inspired by YouTube and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, they can do that. Like, what can I do? And you know, they do their own thing, and it's cool. But it's just I felt like um I feel like some of the similarities though between the two is definitely the home and family vibe.
Mm.
Like once you find like that team or that those people, that group of dancers that you click and you mess with, like it just feels like home and it takes you in. And
Hmm.
there and what I can say about SB and Guam is like there's a place for everyone. A place.
Absolutely. And I know
Um.
you found that you moved to San Diego in the end of 2016 and
Yeah.
still training and still learning and doing, for about the next year. And then end of 2017, that's when Gwownups starts. So how did you even, one, hear about Gwownups? And then two, we all always talk about this, that first generation was just like it was just a random assortment of people, and we didn't know at the time like what it was going to be. But if you can just talk
Hundred.
about again, yeah, right. If you can just talk about one, how you heard about it, two, coming from a completely different part of the world, and what that maybe fear or what that nervousness was like going into a space that was even more new for you. Like, what was all that kind of like?
It was crazy, man. I mean, I I found out about it through one of my really close friends, Mel.
Mm.
She just sent me a DM, and I think it was like a pink flyer. It was something. It was something that said adult exhibition team. I don't know if it was pink, but I remember it said adult exhibition team. And she sent me a flyer. She said, "Yo, me and Christine and Alia are going. Come with us." And at that time, like I was training. I was training elsewhere. I was kind of doing like my own thing, but and I wasn't really thinking about like a team in that aspect. I was just like, dang, I want to just take class and train. Um, Send me the flyer. I looked at it. Um, some people that I was training under and I was really getting close with were engaging with the post. Tristan was saying stuff, and just some other people, some other people that I was just like dancing under or like taking class from at the time. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, so this is cool. I knew of Carlo. Like I took his, he was actually the first class I took when I moved to San Diego at
Mm.
Culture Shock. Yeah, so then I was like, okay, Carlo's starting a team um, with Amore. Mel got me definitely more informed about who Amore was, to SoCal community and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, this is dope. So originally I wasn't like gonna audition. Like I just wanted to go and take class, and I was really just supporting my friends because they wanted me to go, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I went there, and I don't know, man. Like just the camaraderie, just the cheering, the vibe in the studio. I was like, oh dang, no, I wanna audition. Like I'm sticking through. I looked over at them. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen, but
Mm,
there was like a lot of people there.
yeah.
There was a lot of people there. More, definitely more than I expected.
Hmm.
Definitely more than I expected. But yeah, and I just did the audition. I told them I was gonna stick with it. And then we got the text, and that's what's history. It was great.
Heck yeah. It's so funny how you say that because I totally forgot about that. But similar to you, like I found out from Grown Ups through my friend Kirby, and he actually ended up he got on, but he actually ended up not staying on the team. So I was just like, I remember me like that was at the time. If you don't remember, I was still commuting from LA, so I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I don't know anyone. Like this is gonna be
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
So it's crazy how that was, a little under 3 years ago, and how that's a space that a lot of our closest friends and like how you and I like obviously met each other, and
mm-hmm.
so many things happened from like a space that we all had didn't really know what to expect and kind of maybe had whatever expectations, but it ended up being such a great decision, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to find a space that one you're comfortable in and that supports you as well. Cause like I don't know where I would have been, how far I could have gone, where I would be as far as dance. If I didn't
Mm,
join this team, if I wasn't this comfortable, I didn't have these people like pushing me in
yeah.
ways that like I needed to be pushed. So yeah, it was definitely a gift, man. It was great. It was a blessing.
No, absolutely. And one of even the better things about this conversation tonight is that, here we are 3 years later and we're both still on the team, which is super awesome. And I think just even kind of going on to that, but with everything, with the pandemic and all these amazing movements that are happening in the world, how do you think that's going to affect the dance community moving forward? We thrive off of an industry where you need to be with people and large amounts of people. And so, what's your take on how do you think the community is going to do within the next year, the next 2 years, how it's going to evolve, so on and so forth?
That's hard, man. That's hard. I mean, everyone just wants to, pray and hope that 2021, like we're all gonna be back in studios and everything's gonna be like, nah, man, it's gonna change. I mean, it's definitely gonna change. Um, I don't know how they, I don't know how it's gonna change. I mean, people are. I don't know if you like saw the BT awards, but like
Yeah.
they're like like people are like they're finding ways to enhance and integrate and do all the stuff with technology. It's just like you can have a competition, online competition, but I don't know, man. I mean, I just think time will tell. Time
Yeah.
will tell. I mean, I feel like people are doing what they can.
Mm,
I've seen people cap classes at 10 people a class.
yeah.
I'm seeing obviously wearing masks and I've seen taped floors and I mean, I've seen all these like temporary, fixes to try to get something going, but I think it's something that needs to really like be planned
Yeah.
and like there really needs to be like a committee or something that needs to like have a game plan for this
Yeah.
and not just dance but just like arts and all that stuff in general
Oh, absolutely. But dance is obviously a big part of that because, I mean, again,
because
it's
it's like
it's
it's a group aspect. Yeah, it's like,
exactly.
but if sports are coming back,
Yeah, I mean, and that's
I'm
great
not
that you
even in support of that either.
no, and honestly, I'm so happy. I feel the same exact way, and a lot of people a lot of friends and even family are just like, what? Like, you're a big basketball head, like, blah, blah, these things. And for me, the tough thing is that it comes down to money. And that's where I can see why these owners are pushing that. And it sucks because the arts are so powerful, but it's never backed with that support financially. And so we're gonna, in my opinion, I think the dance industry, it's going to be tough. It's just going to be a tough road. I mean, I know some studios in LA that have like are trying to enforce like these rules and obviously social distancing and wearing masks and kind of staying on a certain spot for a dance class. But you got to think like when you're moving, it's like that's impossible. Like to be aware of that and to effectively take class. So it's it's going to be a really tough adjustment. And
And
so I
that's
don't know.
taxing on the choreographer too. Like, dang, like now I got to think about movement and not
Yeah.
thinking of like, what if I'm big? I'm a big mover, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it even goes like for you, it goes against your natural likeliness of like how you like to move. So it's gonna be tough, man. Like I don't know. I really don't know what's how we're gonna move from
But
this.
yeah, I feel like the music industry is like still trying to figure it out. Like the
Mm.
dance industry is definitely gonna be like either behind or late to like figuring something out. But it's gonna be hard, man. But I feel like there's gonna be a way.
No, for sure. And I think this is a time for us to kind of recalibrate and figure out, how to like reassess our own individual situations and figure out how to move best like forward. So I guess if you can maybe even recall in a moment that may have been like a pivot point in your dance career or a moment in your dance career that was like kind of defining, or maybe even if that moment is right now and like kind of changing the trajectory of like where you see yourself dancing, a couple years from now.
I mean, yeah, this break was definitely one of those big turning points in dance because of how little I dance.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like I went from dancing every day to I danced like probably 3 or 4 times during this quarantine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like actually dance, and it's like that's crazy. That's crazy to think like you know, dang, I had my whole sight set on this one thing. I was doing this one thing consistently every day,
Yeah.
and then something can happen. It's like getting an injury. You know what I mean? Like it's out of your control.
Mm.
Can't do anything about it. And it was like, dang, that at that point, I was like, okay. I started thinking about like, okay, what else can I do or get interested in?
Mm.
But then, all it made me want to do was think of ways to adapt to the situation. Like I didn't want to like quit on dance. I definitely took this break to like try to do other things,
Yeah.
and I just realized like, dang, like this is what I want to do. I want to dance. I'm happy if in those like little moments I was able to dance. Like I felt great. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, it made me realize like I love this thing, and I wanna find I was getting into like I don't know, just like reading, watching more videos. Like I started watching old competition videos, but
Mm.
like studying them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like watching it differently. Just trying to like take more mental notes. Like I know that when I come out of this, like I want to be still sharp and ready, however that may be. So
Mm.
yeah, man. I mean, this was definitely one of those turning points, and just moving out here.
Yeah.
Because that was something when I came out here to visit. That was something that like I met people and we talked about it, and it was like one of those plans that was just set in the motion. And once I came out here, it was like I knew I had when I was back home and I was dancing, like it was fun and I was teaching, but it wasn't really anything serious.
Yeah.
And when I moved out here, it was like okay, you know, I had all my fun. I've done all that. I want to focus on something. I want to, you know, really work towards something, and I put dance in the forefront, and I just haven't looked back, and it's been dope.
Yeah. Well,
I've seen where it can take you.
no,
Go
for
ahead.
sure. No, for sure. I think knowing how much of a purist you are in terms of just loving movement, and we've had conversations about this many times before, but if you can maybe just talk or share like your thoughts on the dance community in SoCal, and specifically talking about the choreography section and the one that we're heavily involved with. If you maybe want to talk about the pros being in this community and maybe some of the difficulties in terms of if that's the basis of your foundation, like strictly choreography,
Yeah.
and maybe kind of offering your thoughts also on some ways that we can improve upon not just taking classes to learn choreography, but maybe some other suggestions you might have to improve.
Um, I don't know. I think people got to be like just real and passionate about what they're doing.
Mm,
I feel like I feel like in SoCal, like a lot of people can get things off of kind of like who you know and like just being given opportunities and stuff like that, which is dope. I just think people gotta just if they're given opportunities, gotta be real about it and passionate about it if they're gonna do it. Um, but one thing that I definitely learned about SoCal when I came out here, as far as like choreography and the movement, is very like foundational, like inspired by like a lot of foundations. So that was one thing that helped me because
mm,
it was one of the things that was most difficult for me to pick up, just because I didn't have any of that.
mm,
There's no like popping features,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
housing teachers, any of that like in Guam. Like you learn that from online, and then you pick up moves and you do it, but there's no formal training or anything like that. So being able to like um, this is what I lack helped me figure out what I need to work on.
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about your foundational training, or like maybe just some of the like how you said that you felt like when you came to SoCal, you felt like you were able to kind of hone in on that a little bit more because you were more choreography based back in Guam. Can you
Yeah,
share a
yeah.
little bit about that?
So um, adjusting to taking class here and coming here wasn't anything hard because it was kind of the same thing in Guam. Like you would go in, stretch, do a warm up, you would learn a piece, and obviously like groups and all that solos and kind of all that stuff in the end. Like a class structure. Class structure was kind of the same. It wasn't anything new. So coming in and coming to class, it just made me like intimidated because it was just people that like I've seen on the screen the whole time. And now
Mm-hmm,
they're
mm-hmm.
in front of me.
Yeah,
Now they're in front of me. But but yeah, like the learning the choreography, like I felt like I had like a basic understanding of learning choreography and like movement and all that stuff and what I needed to work on as far as like dancing big and all that stuff. And then coming here, they just helped me pick it up like mad levels. Kind of things like I was already working on when I was out here. I was able to, I don't know, just like learn. I think it just all comes back down to foundation. Once I was able to hone in on that, I was able to do better with the choreography.
yeah. Was there a particular like typically foundation and technique in like I feel like in any field is not really the most fun because there's a lot of repetition and it feels almost kind of monotonous. And I don't know if there was a particular maybe style or exercise that you were just like really vibing with, but maybe you can share like a little bit about that for your in terms of foundation that when you
Mm.
came here.
Um, dang. when I came here, I was trying to break my body as far as like I was trying to get loose, man. I was trying I was trying to like I was working at a studio and I scheduled my days to be on I think it was Mondays because that's when Tristan Edpa would teach beginners hip hop.
Mhm,
No, beginner grooves. Sorry, not hip hop. Beginner grooves.
mhm,
And that should change my life. Like I learned basics and foundations of grooves, and from there I was like, dang, I can kill anything.
mhm,
Because I was able to incorporate grooves and find that in the music and incorporate it into any choreography.
mhm,
And I was just able to find a bounce and um yeah, I don't know. And then once I joined Gwownups, and that was kind of like our first month of
mhm,
warm ups was like foundation, and it was in even though it's isolation and stuff like that, like it's still a groove, like finding
mm,
ways to dance through the isolation throughout the body. So I think that definitely helped me overall. Um,
mm.
and those kind of like warm ups because
Yeah.
I did building block with Devin Pornell. We did like
Mhm,
6 sessions I think. Um, and yeah, we did that as part of our stuff. I was like, yeah, I just want to learn like some foundation. I want to learn some like body awareness and all this stuff. And this is before growing up. So
mm.
we did all that, and I was doing the head, the isolations, the
Yeah.
chest and hips, and all that stuff. And then fast forward a couple months later, I'm on grown ups, and we're doing that, and I'm like, oh crap, I already had the feel of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Now I'm more comfortable. Now I can do it bigger. Now I can, I can do different. I can do the stuff that was hard before because I've had more practice with it, and each year, being able to just brush up on that. Like I just think that's helped me over on that. That's definitely been a great like foundational practice.
Oh, absolutely. And I think even it's wild to me that you mentioned how you felt you said like, and I quote, you need to break your body because I, at least from your initial background, just taking choreography mostly in Guam,
Mhm.
I've whether people have come up to me and I've talked to them about it or I just notice it. I notice when your introduction or your background is mostly choreography, we tend to be stiffer initially, right? And so
Facts.
it's wild to hear you know deconstruct that and to now take these grooves classes and take these foundations and have that bounce and have all these different isolations to work harmoniously together. So that's pretty awesome because that is something that I feel like people just some people still think that.
I just felt like that was a wave though. Like just
Mm,
the tick tick ooh, like just like a bunch of staccato movements. Like I felt
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, and just trying to hit like everything.
yeah, yeah,
And then I felt like I came when I started dancing. Like that was kind of it.
yeah. Mm-hmm,
Like that was what was popular. Like I was huge GRV fan. I am still
mm-hmm,
am,
mm-hmm.
but like I just felt like a lot of choreography was kind of that way, and there wasn't so much like groove or like even subtlety or just like things like I mean obviously it was there, but I just felt like it was overshadowed by like hard hitting movements.
Yeah, and you know that's my thing. It's always been a love hate relationship with just like more intricate movement or quicker, and I also do that with my own movement too. But it's interesting to hear you talk about that because I've always had this ideal that doing anything slower is always going to be extremely harder than doing it fast. You can kind of
Mm.
almost get away and not really see the mistakes. Not to say there are mistakes, but you won't see maybe like some mishaps. And so like how you said that little cat, like it's you can kind of get through that and it's like it's just a moment that's it's obviously very like it's exciting to watch that kind of stuff. I think it can kind of maybe, I don't know if you feel this way, but it can kind of maybe get linear and just like if a whole set for like 6 minutes straight,
Yeah.
just like it's just like you don't even have time to rest and don't have time to
Mm.
just like to ease off. So, but I feel you on that, man. Foundation is freaking key, so crucial. I want to ask you too, with us coming from completely different backgrounds, and like for at least the past few years, it's like having more of a similar training, which is super awesome to share with
Mm.
someone who's come from a different part of the world and different ideals and all these kinds of things. But I always say that the greatest thing I've learned from dance are the things it teaches me outside of the classroom, not the movement, not the technique. It's really the stuff, the characteristics you develop. And so if you can maybe talk about some of the defining characteristics, or you think the greatest things you've learned within dance outside of the classroom, and how you've kind of applied that into your life outside of it
Mm.
being just a dancer.
Yeah, I mean, definitely consistency. I definitely learned that through dance, and that's definitely helped push me like in life. Like I used to just like cut things off or not see things all the way if it was like if I didn't have to or yeah, but I learned that like I learned through consistency, through like constantly doing something and doing it like correctly.
Mm,
Is like yeah, like practicing good consistent habits.
mm,
Um, that's one of the main key things I like dance has definitely taught me. And I just try to like I try to be healthy.
mm.
Like that's like my like they say you gotta get an hour of exercise a day. Like I try to like before quarantine, like I was trying to get at least like 2 to 3 in the form of like class and practice and uh choreographing or teaching or whatever it was. Like I was just trying to like get it in.
Yeah.
And then by the end I just think that like goes over that really started with dance. I think that just goes over to like anything I do now. Like now like I'm really like focus on something. Like I just want to get it in, man. I just want to do
Mm.
it.
No, absolutely. Um, Talked about the consistency and practicing good habits and
Mm.
kind of getting in the groove in that. And if you can just, is that was that more so maybe with taking class, or was it the exercises, or was it kind of seeing and learning from the people you're surrounded by, or who would you say was kind of more of the biggest influence to that particular skill you gained?
Um, Definitely my peers. Definitely. I mean, I just think I've always believed you gotta like surround yourself by the type of like energy and crowd you wanna be a part of. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you like what someone's doing, go see what they're doing and try to
Yeah.
like and try to learn and see like surround yourself around like-minded people. So I definitely think my peers definitely like influence that because I see them like sometimes I'm like damn they're putting in more hours than me. Like they're doing this and that. I'm like I I need to do more. I know people that are not from San Diego. Same situation as me, a different part of the world that moved out here and they're grinding
Mm,
and it's like shoot I can't let up. There's people that have been here like and been grinding, so it's like oh crap, like I need to catch up to them.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean that like just seeing the hard work and then the results that you get from putting in that work. You
No,
know what I mean? That definitely motivates me.
absolutely. And I think you kind of hit it with just that biggest influence. Learning those things are actually from the people that you're surrounded by. And so, you and I, still, both a part of Grown-Ups and just maybe talking about what it's like to work within a team, to work towards a common goal. Um, Maybe just overall, not even just specifically pertaining to Grown-Ups, but maybe even just like your other involvements with being on other teams. But if you can just talk about like the experiences, those experiences.
Yeah, man. I mean, like grown ups. Yeah, grown ups is that. I mean, obviously on black and white on paper, whatever, it's a team. But like when you're in it, like you feel and you know that it's definitely something more than a team. Um, you feel that, but I definitely know we're grown ups. Like you get what you put in. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
we're gonna treat you like family. Um, treat everyone like family.
mm,
But you get what you put in out of the grown ups experience. I like
mm,
to say, but yeah, I don't know. Grown ups is a fam. You know what I mean? I've never. I was on a crew before. That was like the closest thing to kind of a team. You know, I was part of a studio. Backtracking, I was part of a studio. And we were like a travel team,
mm,
but it was still like a studio team. I was in high school, and then my end of high school to like college, I was part of a crew. Um, it was like a team still, but we were a crew. We were just like a bunch of people that danced together.
mm,
Um, you know, we trained ourselves. It wasn't like
mm,
anything super serious. It was just local stuff. Um, but with that team, like we worked hard to where we got recognized at like our Island Music Awards.
mm.
Yeah, we got recognized, got nominated for a GBDC Guam Best Dance Crew.
What? Dude, I never heard
Uh,
of this.
yeah, no, it's tight. It was tight. We got nominated for like an Island Music Award. The thing was tight. But yeah, so I was part of a crew, and then you know, this was like my first like actual team experience, and it was dope. It was everything I could ask for. Like, all
Mm,
the other things I heard about team experiences was like, damn, it's hard. Dang, having to um learn and adjust to one style. Hell week.
oh God.
Everything's so competitive. Da 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 da. I heard everything, and I was still like, I knew it was something, even though I was training at a studio at the time, I was like, I knew it was something like I wanted to dive into at some point, whether that's competitive or not. And it just so
Hmm.
happened that, you know, this exhibition, adult exhibition team directed by two wonderful dancers started, and I was like, whoa, this is what I needed. I needed some place where I
Mm,
can train seriously, be around people, but not feel that competitive pressure.
yeah.
But even me just being a naturally competitive driven person, I'm just like, I'm still gonna work hard. I'm still gonna look at the person next to me and be like, oh, you're going hard? Okay, like what's up? Like, okay, I need to go hard too. You know what I mean? But that just it just motivating people, seeing someone do something one day, maybe not doing it the next day, and I'm like, yo, I saw what you can do. Like, let's do it. And that's what one of the been. It's been a growing experience. No pun intended.
I honestly, I completely 100% feel you on that aspect of that was a big aspect of Grown Ups being an exhibition team. I was very like growing up in that competition scene. I was, 3 years ago, I was just like, even then I was like, I would, I wouldn't, if I had the choice to, I wouldn't join a competing team. And so like for it to be exhibition, I knew that would immediately change the mentality going in from both, the director's perspective and also the company dancers.
Mm,
And like you even said too, like it was never about like And I know you're the same way because we had talked about this even Gen 1, and that was when I wasn't even as connected as to the team as I am now. But I remember like just because I was still commuting, and we had few other people that were also commuting with me as well. Not with me, but like that also commuted from LA. And I just remember thinking like, like I literally like changed a lot of things to be here, and I'm like, I just want to do my best, just because I want to do my best.
Yeah.
And it's dope to know that you've shared that mentality since day one.
Mm.
And it's obviously taking you to like great heights.
No, it's dope. I mean, I met people on Grown Ups that came from competition teams, and they felt like I didn't come from a competition team, but they, were repeating my sentiments. Like, yeah, like we just were tired of the Hell Weeks. We were tired of that scene. We wanted something different, and this was different. And I mean, obviously, exhibition teams have been around forever, but it was a new feel, and I think, you know, the team instantly felt that, and I think once the team felt that, it was just contagious. Everyone felt it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wild. I think maybe even kind of speaking onto that too. Now we kind of talked a little bit about just the experiences that you've learned on the other teams, but I mean, maybe even just talking now a little bit more from like an individual perspective. I remember right before
Mm.
quarantine hit, we had, I mean, we're always talking, but we had a conversation about, I remember you wanting to tap into your own movement and really kind of, figuring that out and kind of figuring out your teaching style. So if you can just talk a little bit about, if you're cool with it, just kind of what that is and kind of where you're at in terms of figuring, your movement and how you want to continue because you're teaching and directing as well. So just talking a little bit about like where you're at with like your teaching philosophy and the style you've kind of been studying and those kinds of things.
Well, I mean, naturally, I've just been like a I'm naturally been like more of an explosive dancer, I guess we can say. So, I was trying to like because I already knew that's something I could do, so I wasn't really working on it or focus on it. I was really trying to focus on trying to be smooth, focus on um, still trying to keep my grooves and just like focus on other foundational stuff. But I think recently I've just been trying to take what I've been learning in those fields, but go back to what I'm good at
Mm.
and kind of find a way to offer that still. Um, Big, explosive, just movement, just like feel good stuff. I mean, I've always my philosophy is kind of the the generic thing you would tell anyone that dances really small is like, yo, we want you to dance big because when you're dancing big, it's so easy to um try to like control that and be like, all right, you can chill out, rather than you dancing really small and us telling you like, yo, come on, dance, like dance bigger, dance bigger, dance bigger. It's like it's a
Yeah.
little bit harder. I mean, I'm dealing with that situation like at my work, you know, trying to train someone who doesn't have customer experience on speaking loudly to customers rather than compared to another person who I have that is just naturally loud. And it's like, okay, I can tell you like you don't have to yell at the customers rather than trying to tell someone not to yell at the customers but to talk loud still.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, it's like, so I'm just trying to just, even with my kids and recently I've been teaching, I've just been trying to get people just to be big and just feel good and extend their range of motion. I'm still trying to keep my grooves and that, but yeah, I'm just trying to. I really want people just to be loose and dance big and we can tone it down later, but just
Mhm.
give it your all right now to see let's see how far you can go, how big you can go, what you can do, and then we can mess with that stuff later.
Absolutely. I have a curveball I want to throw at you before we kind of cap this one.
Right?
I don't know if you're ready for it, but here we go. So, end of Gen 2 for Gwownups, for those of you who are tuning in on the podcast. End of year 2, so it was this past September at Banquet. You were actually the recipient of the Performer of the Year award, and I
Hey,
want to talk a little bit about first one, what did that mean to you to receive that award from your directors and your peers? And two, what did that do for you moving forward? Whether it was more of a mental approach, whether it was more of just your work ethic, anything like how did that affect you moving forward? But yeah.
I can't answer without first acknowledging the Gen 1 winner. Come on now.
Stop.
We're not gonna do that now. We're not gonna do that.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Kevin Belisario, right
Man.
next to me. This guy is Gen 1
Oh my
Performer of the
God.
Year. We'll
I
get
just
back to that. We'll
I
get
passed
back
it
to
to you. I
that.
passed it to you. It was your turn. Thank
But
you, man.
honestly, man, that it meant the world. Like thousand percent was not expecting it, and I was just when they told me why when they were explaining like why I got it, I was just like, dang, that's been something like even before SoCal. I've just been trying to do with even my homies and my teammates. Like, yo, like we can do more, or like, oh, I've gotten this reaction. Like, you need to like pick it up, or
Mm,
um, just trying to like be I don't know, just trying to push people, but at the same time, um, it all just came from like me just trying to push myself. Like I'm just trying to perform. I'm trying to find like ways to give a crowd a show or give it all to wherever I'm at. Like once I hit stage, like it just kind of switches for me.
yeah.
And whether that's like an actual stage or whether that's like um a class and I'm just on the floor, like when someone's watching me, like it's kind of like, all right, it needs to like turn on. But
Mm,
no, it felt great. It felt dope. It it's like the highest honor you can I feel you can I don't know receive like, and it's something that I pride myself on from the get was just like performance. You know what I mean? I tell people what I lack in skill, I made up with performance, and
mm.
then I just use that to roll me on while I'm learning the skill. I learned the foundation. I'm trying. Let me entertain real quick. Let me entertain
Yeah.
to get by, and then I'm gonna pick it up. Don't worry, I'm gonna pick it up. But no, but it was dope. It was great. And after that, it just like motivated me to just do more, man. It made me feel like I was doing something right,
Mm,
but it made me feel like I could do more. And if I was doing more, then who knows where I could be. So it was great. I mean, I have that thing laid up where I can see it every day as
mhm.
just a reminder. You know what I mean? Like it's just I was coming for it again this year, but COVID shut that whole thing down. I was trying. I was working.
You're wild, man. I can't believe you just said that.
Dang.
That's so fun. I mean, honestly, like I remember when I remember we shared an embrace after you got out. I actually came to you because you're my guy, and just and I was just so happy for you. And I saw it in that moment. There was a moment where it was emotional, not where you're crying, but like you really were just like touched. And I don't even remember if you did cry. I don't remember, but I do remember that it meant a lot because you weren't expecting it, and it was just kind of a reinforcement, and it was encouraging that the work that you had been putting in was being noticed. and it sucks for that for an award to have to say that, but I know it still
Mm.
meant a lot. And there wouldn't be anyone else I'd rather have to give it up to. So shout out to you. Oh
Yes,
my God.
sir.
But just we've got a couple more things to tackle. So for the viewers, whoever's tuning in today on Jayton's episode of the Of Like Minds video podcast, talking about dance, dance community in SoCal, a little bit about Guam, even ideals. Be sure to check out more stuff. We got a couple more conversations with Jayden coming up. But Jayden, we will get back to it. But until then, we will see you guys next time. All right. Thank you so much, Jayden.
Thank you.